Hi guys, welcome back. So today we're continuing the rating climb on leeches. Last time we hit 2000 by crushing a 2000 rated player. This time we'll be aiming for 2100, but it's okay if we just hit 2050 also. That's still an improvement in our rating. So let's just go ahead and start the game right now. Okay, we have the black pieces. Our opponent has played e4, so now we're gonna respond with a solid, strong c5, playing the Sicilian opening. Knight f3. This goes to the classical variation. This is very commonly played: d4, cd4, knight d4, knight f6, knight c3, knight c6, and so on. So we're gonna do just that. Follow the main line, follow the theory. So now takes is common, bishop b5 is common, f4 is common, f3 is common. Yeah, f3. So f3, if you play bishop e3, I can just play queen to b6 and like pin the knight, you can say. I don't know if it's pin, but yeah, you can try something. So let's go e6, bishop e7, castle. Many times black just goes g6, bg7, but I don't really like that a lot. So do we go bishop e7 or queen to b6? Queen b6 attacks that and pins that. So if I go there, I'm attacking that. You can defend it. Then what? If I can somehow play d5, I can get the bishop to c5. What about d5 right now? No, e5. And then I have to play knight to d7, which isn't a bad position. It's just that white gets a kingside attack, which I don't really like defending. Let's play solid bishop e7. Queen b6 might be too early. Now we're not going to castle yet. We'll play a6, so that in case long castle, we can always go for the queenside attack, and it happens. So here, I'm pretty sure the actual line is knight d4, bd4, b5, just initiating the attack as soon as possible. But then there is bishop f6, and we lose the d6 pawn. So how about takes, e5, bishop moves, and then b5. Could work, but I think d5 is required for our kingside attack. So not b5 immediately because you hang the knight. Let's take the knight. Okay. And now what we play depends on. Okay, queen takes. This is not very common, but here at least we don't have to worry about bishop f6, and then our d6 pawn going. So we can just go ahead and play b5. But one thing we have to worry about here, since queen took, is that now g4, g5 is a real threat. Because once our knight moves, we lose g7, and our king side is just gone. Our king is stuck in the center. g4. Now if we play h6, that's h4, then g5. In which case, hg5, hg5, rook takes, and then takes. You get the idea. It's too complicated. Now b4 loses the pawn, of course. We can play bishop b7, but there's no point. It's blocked. Maybe later we can wait. But right now, we need a plan. I mean, e5 works alright. We stop that. So, yeah, I'm thinking that might be our only option. e5, queen b6 means I'll gladly trade off queens and go straight to the rush. And another thing is, after e5, we can play bishop e6, attacking on a2 and helping our queens attack. So, it helps us in many ways, stopping this threat, gaining space, controlling the f4. It allows our bishop to attack. It opens up the bishop to attack there, so you can't actually play f4 without hanging it. So bishop e6, but there is knight to d5. B4 knight to d5 will of course happen. Let's first play bishop e6. King b1. Expected, you can say. So here I want to continue our pawns. I want to continue rolling our pawns down the board. How can we do that? Queen to d7, controlling these squares, not bad. Then knight and bishop defend, so it looks solid. So after queen to d6, what will be our plan? b4, a5. We can't play a5 first because two minor pieces attacking. Does bishop c4 work? We don't lose material, but I mean the b file is quite strong to attack with. But the thing is, this bishop controls b6, so we can't actually get our queen safely there. So queen a5 also not bad, with a very strong idea. So here our plan is to play b4, attack the knight, and once it moves, both the bishop and queen attack a2. So the only option is knight to d5, and then we can just trade the knight off for the bishop. Yeah, I guess for the bishop, because if we trade off with the knight, then we won't be able to use our light squared bishop, because literally everything is taken over by white. So if knight to d5, I'll trade off with the bishop, because at least the knight can somehow be rerouted and made useful. So yeah, right now I'm thinking it's a pretty solid position. We can play rook c8, later open file, attacking c2 and c3. Ooh, rook c1, rook c8 also has a hidden idea of rook takes c3, sacrificing, like an exchange sacrifice, to take on a2, and it's a strong position. Okay, I think after takes, I think I would actually just take with the bishop, king moves, and then, and of course if king a1, I just have b4 and then bishop moves, because if I do it immediately, you just take it. So yeah, takes, king c1, b4. Actually, no, I think maybe take trade is also alright. Yeah, it's alright. And then I can play bishop c4 and completely block your double pawns. That would be crazy. Like, crazy insane. So, yeah. But we should also calculate our opponent's move. So, rook to c. What can our opponent play here? b3, rook c8, knight d5. That is one especially thing. It's one specific thing we should calculate. And also knight d5. Okay, h4. The pawns are rolling. Rook to c8. Let's prepare the sack, because I am ready. Oh yeah, and if we take, you have to take with the queen. If you take with the pawn, we should have check and check king c1 mate. So queen takes is forged, and then we pick up that pawn and then we trade off queens. It's a very good position for us. h5. Now this is going somewhere interesting. This will end up in a. Okay, so white is doing a kingside attack, but these flank attacks won't be good without queens. So we can just trade off the queens right now. Let's do it. One must be ready to make the sacrifices required. B takes, mate in 2. Queen takes is forced. Not forced, I mean, pretty much forced. Your other option is to just not take it at all. Now I'll just take it with the bishop, chop that pawn off. And of course it's king to c1, and now we just take. But we trade or not? I mean, we should, otherwise the queen just gives a mate. So let's take the queen. B takes. And here is a critical position. We can castle, we can play h6. I mean, castle allows the rook to go. h6 stops all attacks. Personally, I would like castle, but then with g5 and then like g6, no. I don't really see a lot of power in that, so castle it is. And you can't exactly trap the light square bishop. It has a center diagonal. You can't actually trap it. So, castle. Next, rook c8, attacking c3. Ooh, I know where you are attacking. d5, is it possible? d5, ed, knight d, and then both bishops are aiming, but the c pawn is also attacked. Risky, I like it. And it also opens up the bishop, it activates the knight. Let's go d5. Takes, knight takes, bishop to f5. Rook takes c3. I'm just going all in. I don't even know what I'm doing. And then your bishop's threatened. Yeah, the rook and the knight together. So you can't go there, you have to go there, let's say. Okay, you're not really caring. Now I get a pawn, you get a bishop, I get a bishop, you get a pawn. Equal up till there. I get a pawn, you get a pawn. Equal. Then, what do? Knight d5, attacking bishop and pawn. Bishop is threatened. You need to save it. So you got d2 defending the pawn as well. Then how do I use my bishop to attack again? I have no clue. I don't think you can actually attack with the bishop. So if takes, takes. And what if I just play bishop to c4? Takes. Rook takes. Takes on a6. Takes, check, bishop blocks. You can't go to c5. Not a bad position. I honestly do not know what to pick. What move do I play? What move do I play? bc4 looks the safest, but I lose a6, so let's take. Take, take, take. Alright. In that position, we play b4, attacking the pawn since the rook is spinning it. Okay. First, knight d5 attacking both bishop d2, then b4, because it is still pinned. The rook pins the pawn to the king. And if c4 takes, you move, and then I go straight back, because there is a back rank weakness. Okay. This is also an option, but now knight to d5 attacks both, so let's go knight to d5 attack bishop attack pawn. We're threatening to take the pawn, we're threatening to exchange the bishop and take the pawn. So take. Oopsie, takes. So if you take, I can either take or take. I think I'll take the bishop, and then I'll take. Yeah, and then I can just give a check, play f6 and all that. There is no way, bro. That's the power of tactics. I just get my rook back, and I'm a piece up. The plan was going through my mind right here, where I was thinking takes, and I'll go there, give a check, and then maybe here, but that didn't work out. I already saw this move. And then here I was just checking those moves again, and so I realized, hey, the king has to take. Okay, it's the only defender. And then if that's a check, no matter what you do, lose the rook. And you don't even get a minor piece back. Alright, let's go to f4. Okay. h6, and now if you take on b5, I just take on c3. Because I don't have a backline quickness anymore. This is defended. If I play f6, everything's defended. I just give a check and I somehow just obliterate you. Check. Sure. Okay, now another check to win the pawn. Do I take? Yes, I do, because I'm threatening that. You get a pawn, well, I also get a pawn, and right now I'm a pawn up. Now I attack this, and I'll be 2 pawns up. And of course, you just have to resign in a losing position like this. Let's analyze. Okay, it's already analyzed, which is kind of weird, but sure. Let's go over this whole thing. It was a really solid opening. No one got the advantage. Well, here it was, +1. But +1 is pretty much still a draw, just a very slight advantage. But it's still a draw. +2, now, if it's above +2.5, then yeah, it's a win. If it's +2.2, you have chances, you can say. Yeah, this was a mistake I made. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see this because g5 and like the entire king side attack comes, so all the pawns are rolling. My king side becomes very weak. And then I'm just stuck with a permanent back rank weakness. Because like that knight to d7 and then let's say h6. I play g6, I cannot push the f pawn because this, and so I just have a permanent back rank weakness. So yeah. Another an inaccuracy and not bad. This was a big blunder, giving me back the material and giving me extra actually. I give you an exchange, you give me another piece. So yeah, completely winning. That was a really fun game. We just absolutely crushed our opponent in this with just 2 simple ideas, maybe even 3. One, this exchange sacrifice, which happens not very commonly, but quite frequently in most games. But most of the time, you just go by a position where you can sack, but like you don't even recognize it. And that was one idea, the exchange sack, and the other was this really nice tactic to just get the rook. And then I don't know if this counts as an idea or not, but it was the queen side attack that we did. This a6 b5 and then like putting the bishop on e7, everything, aiming at the queen side, and then you just got the queen to the queen side, and like yeah, our attack was more successful than white's. Even though white has a slight advantage, I would honestly rather play as black in this. Maybe not here, but yeah, here I would take my chances as black. And yeah, pretty solid game, crushing our opponent. We did go past 2050. So next video we'll try to reach 2100. I guess I'll see you there.